everybody.
Hi, I'm Noah Mayu and Shan Nichols with Naughty Q Barbecue Team. We're here at the Kennesaw, Georgia Pigs and Peaches Barbecue Fun. He is a consultant, technology consultant.
Technology consultant, contact centers.
And I am a finance consultant. And this is our first competition this year. We do 1 or 2 a year, so this is what we do for fun.
Great. Is it a family? This is a family event?
Yes, it very much is. Wife, 3 kids, wife, 1 kid. So it's definitely a family outing.
And this helps support the community?
Yes, yes. And it's fun. You know, people love it. It's a great festival. The weather's very nice today. There's all kinds of fun stuff to do. It's family friendly. And it's, like I said, just fun.
Do you guys cater?
Yes, we do. We do a little catering on the side to support our competition habit.
And how do they get a hold of you if they wanted to cater?
It's Naughty Q. It's www.naughty-que.com.
Thank you.
Okay, good morning. It's Todd Barker with the Barbecue Doctor. We're here in Kennesaw, Georgia at the Pigs and Peaches Barbecue Festival. Barbecue Doctor is a brainchild of Senior Solutions Management Group. We do barbecue for our residents and our families. We figure just for our residents and families, we barbecue between 3,000 and 4,000 pounds of barbecue a year. And we decided to take that on the road and do a little competitive cooking as well. And that's what brings us here. We've cooked Memphis Barbecue, Georgia Barbecue Association, and Kansas City Barbecue Association.
How many contests a year do y'all cook?
We probably cook approximately 10 to 12 per year. So we're not the full-time guys, but when we get out, we're relatively competitive. We've had several top 5 finishes.
So you get some walks, huh?
Oh, we've had several walks, yes sir. So we're certainly looking forward to today's cook. Everything's going well so far. Hopefully we're not going to jinx ourselves this morning.
Hi, I'm Sam Huff. I'm the head cook for Lost Mountain Barbecue Company. Our restaurant in East Cobb is called Sam's Barbecue One. When you're in East Cobb, come visit us. We also teach barbecue cooking classes known as Pork University, or more affectionately as Pork U. These classes run from April through September and are highly popular. Our approach is to take a backyard cook and elevate his cooking skills rather than appealing to the competition cook. And we try to teach the backyard chefs the techniques that we use in competitions to make their product better. Everybody has an enjoyable 12-hour day cooking and eating all day at Pork U. We're here today in Kennesaw, Georgia at Pigs and Peaches, a KCBS sanctioned event. And probably we have the largest number of teams here that we've ever had at Pigs and Peaches. A beautiful sunny day. The hurricane did not get us today. Everybody's putting their chicken on right about now. Most people put their ribs on about 6 o'clock this morning, and we'll be pulling for the judging starting about 12:30 through 1:30, and we should have an excellent day today. They are out of the cooker. They are resting, and they are sitting over there. We've put some Thorazine to them so they'll relax, a little Flexeril to relax those muscles even more. So better barbecue through drugs, and we should have some pretty tasty meat for everybody today.
I'm Scott Burton with South Pork, and we cook competition barbecue under the KCBS, and we do about anywhere from 15 to 20 contests a year. We were fortunate enough to travel with Byron Chisholm of Bad Byron's Butt Rub over to the UK and cook in grill stock 2011. It was quite an adventure. He's over there actually doing he has a local representative that's promoting Butt Rub in the UK, a distributor, and told us about a contest that they were having, so he asked us if we'd be willing to go over and help. We were very fortunate. We got to tour some of England, and we also got to compete in the competition. We managed to finish first place in 5 out of the 7 categories. We cooked chicken, ribs, pork, and brisket like a traditional KCBS event, and we also entered dessert, which we had to cook the crock pot cake on the big green egg, so that was very challenging. So we got to cook And we cooked on cookers we'd never had before. So we had a Big Green Egg, and we had a WSM provided to us by Weber and by Big Green Egg. It was,
How many teams?
I think there were 22 teams originally that started out. It's kind of small because it's just now getting started out over there. They had it the previous year. So we were kind of at an advantage having the experience that we did. This was their second year, and having Byron's experience and my own experience, I think it gave us a distinct advantage in the event.
Y'all got a bung?
I'm sorry?
You have a bung this year?
Oh no, we don't. Actually, this is our last shot for one in the Jack. We have two, actually 3 reserve grands this year, and so we didn't make the call for the Jack.
You on a Royal?
No, not going to the Royal this year. We've made the trip to the Royal once, and it's worth going to. It's 750 miles one way for us, and she flew in, of course, but I had to drive up. And I think everybody should go at least once, but I don't know that we'll go back anytime soon. It's just that it's too far, considering we have about 35 contests within 3 hours of our house. Living in North Alabama, it's kind of a unique place to be in the barbecue community.
Which ones are you thinking?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You've got more of an aerial vision than I can. The only reason I don't like this one is because of the skin.
I can hide that with parsley.
Okay.
I definitely like. Let's go to this one. All right. So we doing the nubs up or down? Up. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
We can always fill in.
Yep.
I
That one?
like
What's that?
Parsley.
parsley.
This one?
Parsley?
Yeah. Excuse
Do
me.
you like green? I'm not sure if you can eat parsley.
You can eat it. I don't know if you'll like it.
She loves salad, and so like green things, anything green, she will eat.
Usually kind of strong.
I personally like this one.
Okay. It doesn't look bigger than the others.
I don't know.
I think it is a little bit bigger than the others.
What about that one? Oh no, it's got a varnish on it too.
I need one more.
Yeah, I like that one too. That one's nice looking.
That one's a little bit too big.
I'll put it here, and then you can sit down and have a piece of Daddy's chicken. Okay? You want some of Daddy's chicken? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sit down and we'll get a cool plate. Oh, we'll pull one down for you. Do you need me to get you any more? This is a nice. This is nice of you, lady.
Okay. All right.
Here's another little piece. I don't know if it's too big. Do you need something like that?
So you didn't tell me this? All right, number 1 had a really great smoke flavor to it. Number 2 was a little bit overdone, a little too mushy. Number 3 had a really good flavor, real good barbecue, real good tenderness. Number 4, also really good barbecue flavor, real good tender. Number 5, a little bit not done too much, it's a little bit too tough. And number 6 I thought was really good, but too much pepper. I like number 1 really good. Number 3 was really good too.
Yeah, number 1 I thought was a little dark on the skin, but the inside was also a little dry for me. Number 2, I agree, mushy, and the skin was tough on number 2. Number 3 was probably my favorite. The flavor was great. It was a small portion, so I didn't really think the appearance was great, but flavor and texture was just outstanding. Number 4, to me, didn't have as much flavor as number 3, coming right off that, even cleansing the mouth, but it was not as flavorful as the other one, but it was a good piece of meat. Number 5, I didn't care for it so much. Just didn't have any flavor, really. It was just sort of bland. Didn't even taste like chicken. Number 6, very nice. But again, it was a lot of pepper. It's still lingering in my mouth now.
My favorite was the number 6. I think it had a little bit of spice, had a good kick at the end. Number 4 had the best appearance, but the taste, it almost tasted like lighter fluid to me. It had good sauce. I liked the sauce, but once you got past the skin, it just didn't have a good taste. The others, I mean, those were the 2 that stood out for me.
All right, my favorite by far was number 6. 1 was a little dry, a little tough. 2 and 3 were a little mushy, but definitely sweet and smoky. 4 was good, very good sweet flavor. And 5, a little gritty with the rub a little bit, but I did like it. But by far 6 sticks out the most to me.
Well, I thought that overall that quality was really excellent for all entries. My favorites were number 3 and number 6. They just seemed to combine tangy and juiciness and all of the elements that are very, very appealing to me. Unfortunately, number 1 on mine was the skin was burned and it was really tough. It was very hard to, I couldn't chew it. So, but this was a really nice way to start the event.
It was a great 6 selections overall. Number 1, even though it looked very, very dark, the meat, however, had dried out. The second one had just a tad too much, sauce on it. Otherwise, the tenderness was good. The third one I thought was one of the best ones. Nice and juicy. Tenderness was just perfect, wasn't overcooked. Fourth one, I had to look twice. I thought it was undercooked. It looked like it was a little bit of rare, but it was not. They had taken it off just perfect. The fifth one was another nice one, had a lot of sauce on it, but still was very tender. The sixth one I thought was excellent. They needed to dial down the hot pepper down one more notch. Otherwise, that would have been 9s across the board.
On the Primo, and then had to transfer because I couldn't get the tent to stay up for my butts. They were on the alien, as you called it. So about midway through, we changed over. Okay, there we go. That one. Another one.
How much is sitting in my finger? A lot of barbecue. Same.
It's like I don't know if you'll be able to get 7 in there.
What if you can, fine. If you can't, well, as long as you got 6, that's all that matters.
I always like to give the guy who's doing the running for you.
The table captain?
Table captain.
Table captain appreciates
it if you can. The bone on the other side.
Okay. Like that, Becky?
I don't think that was, no, I meant there you go. This is going to be too high.
That's going to be too high.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to shut the lid.
We're going to be able to shut that
Do them on the side then. Yeah, you have
to. The side, maybe on the side.
Yeah. There's a little piece too, right?
Arch on them. They almost look like the things they brought the Flintstones at the movie theater.
Kelly, come over here and trim this one also, please.
Thank you, Mike. Can't you go long ways?
Well, how's that any difference? It's a square box, right?
I don't know.
I'm good at this. Hey, wait, there's one on that end. I'm real good at
I think you have to set them up, Dad.
I think we have to trim a little bit on their side, aren't we?
Mm-hmm. Like we did last time.
nuts. Next time we'll use baby bags.
No.
What can I do to help clean up, Ken?
As a group, they were really good ribs. Number 4 had real good flavor, had a little grape jelly in their sauce that kind of added to it, but it still had a good pork flavor. Number 1 was a real good rib too. Presentation wasn't quite as good as the others. Number 5 was an excellent rib. Perfect, came off the bone just right. 2, 3, and 6 were just kind of over sauced was the only problem was. And number 6, I don't know if it was they used some kind of lighter fluid or their grill wasn't clean, so it had kind of a petroleum taste to it. But as a group, they were really good
Overall,
ribs.
I'd say that the samples struggled for flavor or taste. Number 1 really had no taste whatsoever. The meat was kind of mushy. Number 2, if it didn't have sauce on it, it had no flavor whatsoever. It was kind of chewy and tough. Number 3, 5, and 6, they were fairly tender, but again, the meat had no flavor. I thought number 4 was the best. It had a pretty good flavor throughout it, and it was very tender.
I felt like number 1 was nicely cooked. The meat flavor was shown through pretty well, but it needed to have a little something else, maybe maybe a little bit of acid or something just to pep up the flavor a little bit. Number 2, I think that the texture suffered because it was served cool. You know, it was hard to get off the bone. It was a little bit tougher, and it was definitely oversauced. Number 3 was a little bit overcooked and definitely too salty for me to eat. Number 4 was my favorite. My only complaint is the bone I was given had very little meat on it, and I would have liked a lot more meat because the flavor was good. It was nicely cooked. It was moist. It was delicious. Number 5 was a little bit tough and also, again, a little salty. And then number 6 was strange to me. It almost had a ham-like texture, and I don't know exactly how you achieve that, but it didn't satisfy that rib thing for me.
You gonna rub?
I hate to interrupt at this point.
No,
Make it
you're
so
good.
raw.
You're good. That's great smoke. Wow. That was wow.
It stayed on there a lot longer to get more smoke before I foiled.
You put a roast in there, Dallin?
Yeah.
Spoil those judges with that, you know. Roast?
It's not a pork collar, I tell you that.
All we asked from them was just a few 9s. What could be easier?
I just want 6 9s. That's all I'm asking. That was a wow. Yeah. Definitely want to put that on here.
Sample number 1 was good taste, but it was a little on the dry side. So otherwise, in all, the whole group was presented in the box very well. All appeared very well. But the first sample was a little on the dry side. Taste was good. Same for the second. Good flavor, but a little bit dry. Sample number 3 I found to be the best of the group. Good taste, good texture, moist, very good product. Sample 4, again, dry, a little bit dry, and flavor a little too sweet. Just a little bit too sweet. Tasted mostly the sweet taste. Couldn't get the flavor of the pork from that sample. Number 5, good flavor, however, a little bit overcooked. Meat was a little on the dry side and a little mushy as well. The same for sample number 6. It had a very good flavor, good smoke flavor to it. However, the mixture of meats in the box, there was both dry and mushy meat. So that was, on taste, it was very good, but however, on texture, due to the mix of the dry and mushy sample, it was scored down.
Sample number 1, I thought was dry. Taste was okay, but the dryness just was way too dry for me. Number 2 was, I thought it was tender, and mine was moist and had good flavor. And number 3, I thought was the best overall of my samples, and it was tender, moist, good texture. Number 4 was a little bit, again, it was kind of dry. Flavor was okay. Number 5, again, was dry. I thought was dry. Number 6, I thought it had good, very good flavor, and I thought it was good texture.
I think entry number 1 was tender, had good flavor. Number 2, I thought was sweet, had a sweet glaze. Number 3, I thought was tender, had a little smoky flavor to that one. Number 4, I thought was a little dry, but also had a little sweet sauce. Number 5, had a great taste, great flavor. I thought was a little dry. And number 6 had a unique flavor, and it was also a little bit dry.
My number 1 had a beautiful presentation, but then when you taste it, I found it to be very bland on taste and mushy, probably overcooked. The second entry had a glaze that had been presented after the pork had been pulled, but unfortunately that just gave it a real heavy honey-baked ham taste where it's difficult to taste the meat. Number 3 was my very favorite. It was a sliced money meat. I thought it was a beautiful presentation. It was succulent. It was flavorful. That's what barbecue is supposed to be like. The 4th one had a very heavy smoked bark. It was dry inside. 5th was another sliced presentation, but I found this one to be a little mushy and with just a heavy marinade taste. This number 6, it did have a nice moist tenderness I liked, but I thought that the flavor was just a little too bland.
The number 1 entry I found was very nice texture to it and enjoyed it. The number 2 I felt was a little undercooked, where number 3 I felt like was overcooked and mushy tasting. My number 4 entry, I had a very fluid, accelerant taste, apparently something he used to keep the fire going. My number 5 entry, I thought was an excellent presentation. It was pulled pork with a excellent texture. And number 6, I felt like was excellent overall with texture and taste.
Okay, number 1 to me was a very plain presentation, but it ended up being a nice, good, moist piece of butt that they put out there. Number 2 had the nice glaze to it, all in all, but the flavor was lacking a little bit because all you could taste was the glaze. The 3rd was a beautiful presentation, had the money muscle, and everything was presented very nicely, but it was a little bit overcooked and mushy. Number 4 had a very smoky flavor to it, and all in all, wasn't that bad of a taste to it. Number 5 was moist and tender,
had a just really was what I was looking for in a piece of pork. And number 6 was just, to me, it tasted unseasoned. But all in all, it wasn't that bad. Just need a little bit more seasoning put on it to bring out the flavor of the meat more.
I'm not gonna try to fan them. I'm not gonna try to do anything besides send them in. Okay.
What's our time? 122. 123.
Still out front. Slow down. A couple minutes. My taste buds feel kind of shot too, so.
That's why I was trying not to eat any of those chips or anything. I knew that was gonna.
Yeah.
Skew everything.
You see any that you don't like, holler. Alright.
So you're not feeling like you're...
You need to fix that one. There you go. Seven.
You're right in the middle. There's plenty of room. About right there so we can fan out. Here? Yeah. It's gonna be really... Oh God. Texture-wise, this is the worst we've done in a long time.
It was carelessness on our part.
Lack of communication. I would suggest we do this. Just make sure your brush is well mixed, right? And then once across the top. Not too much. I know. Yeah, it'd be bad to have 5, huh? 7.
All right. Number 1, I really like. Number 2, I didn't really like too much. It had it tasted like it had some curry and sauce or something. And then number 7 I didn't like. It had some kind of funky taste to it, but all in all, the rest of them were real good brisket. Number 4 was slightly overcooked, but it had an excellent flavor.
Okay, number 1 was really great. Actually, it was 9s all the way across. Number 2, as soon as we saw it was over sauce, we knew it was a problem, and it turned out to be very dry. Number 3 was a decent piece with salt, but it was a little too salty for me. Number 4 was excellent. It was another one that was 9 all the way across. Number 5 was too salty and overcooked. Number 6 was good all the way around. And number 7 was terribly overcooked and dry.